Yo, being young and dumb. That is the topic of today's video. I'm actually not centered, so let me get centered. Now, today's video is about being young and being dumb, right? Isn't that what everybody says? You're only in your 20s once. Or you hear stuff like 30 is the new 20, right? Or 40 is the new 30, right? Like, it it's so stupid when people say stuff like that. Now, obviously, some of you, maybe you're older than me watching this video, right? And you're probably like, oh, well, you're only saying that because you're in your 20s and you're not 30. Well, no, duh. It's like saying, oh, 20s are the new 10s, right? Like, now I'm 20. It's kind of like being 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. Like, every decade, you're different. You're not getting younger. You're not getting more energy, right? You're not getting more, let's say, you don't even heal at the same rate, right? The rate my body was probably healing at when I was in my 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, my teenage years, right? I'm not going to be healing at the same rate in my 20s. I'm not going to be healing in the same rate as my 30s. I could get wiser, but the amount of energy I have now, there's no way I'm going to have that same level of energy when I'm in my 30s, when I'm in my 40s, right? Like, it's so goofy when people say stuff like that. Now, this isn't a rant about that age stuff. At least not when you're 30, because I'm in my 20s. But today, I uploaded on my Instagram story, on my Snapchat story, and I wanted to kind of read what I read out, right? And I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to go into it, right? But before we do that, let's acknowledge the fit. Pretty clean, kept it simple today. We got the black shirt. This isn't the same black shirt as my previous video. This one isn't as glistening or as shiny, right? But similar. It's just a black shirt. And then we've got the green jacket. We've got navy blue pocket square. We've got the black face watch and the black band. And then the black and silver sunglasses. These two accessories have made it in a few videos. So, you can see what I like to wear, right? So let's make this a banger video, right? So, number one, let me read what I post on my Instagram story today, and it was multiple posts. It wasn't just like one big story post, right? So I said, Founding Fathers of America, right? On July 4th, 1776, James Monroe was 18. Aaron Burr was 20. John Marshall was 20. Alexander Hamilton was 21. Betsy Ross was 24. James Madison was 25. Thomas Jefferson was 33. Young people have always made massive impact throughout history. Yet, you keep letting society tell you that you are young and dumb. It's laughable, really. You can be young and dumb. Just don't be upset when others are living your dreams. I've always been an advocate for, respect your elders, right? Mainly because when I'm an elder, I will want to be treated with respect. But don't let them fool you. A lot of times, successful elders give the wrong advice. Hear me out. They often forget who they were and what they did to get to where they are. They tell you things like, live a balanced life, stop and smell the roses, it's okay to rest, knowing damn well they were ruthless mother effers on their way up. The advice isn't bad. It's actually very comforting. That's why they feed it to you. They give you that weak stuff to keep you where you are. Success, money, and power isn't for the weak. They have a very strong understanding of that. They make money feeding you that weak stuff. And then you wonder why you're still stuck. I'm going to be very honest with you. Forget that touchy-feely stuff. Hee hee ha ha, you're only young once. Yeah, I'm only young once. These are the years where I'll have the most energy I'll ever have mentally and physically. I'd be a clown to mess around and waste them. Do I go out and have fun? Of course I do. That's not the point I'm making. What I'm saying is you're only this age once. Not everyone is after the same things in life. It all starts with knowing what you want, being honest with what you want, and then committing to what you want. It's up to you to make it happen. So go out there and freaking do it. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Now, I'm going to read it one more time, and this time I'm going to read it with more energy, with more bite, and I'm going to use the exact honest words that I wanted to use, right? I didn't really curse in that first go around, because, I was like, oh, is it going to impact the channel? But now, you know what? I'm just going to read it as I wrote it. If this video doesn't get that many views, that's fine. I know one way or another, if it's meant to be seen, it'll be seen. So let me read it one more time to you guys. I put it centered so that it looks like I'm looking at the camera for you guys. That way you guys can just pay attention and really just follow along. So let's do this. All right, let me fix it. There we go. Founding Fathers of America. Founding Fathers of America. On July 4th, 1776, James Monroe was 18. Aaron Burr was 20. John Marshall was 20. Alexander Hamilton was 21. Betsy Ross, 24. James Madison was 25. Thomas Jefferson was 33. Young people have always made massive impact throughout history. Yet, you keep letting society tell you that you are young and dumb. It's laughable, really. You can be young and dumb, just don't be upset when others are living your dreams. I've always been an advocate for respect your elders, mainly because when I'm an elder, I will want to be treated with respect. But don't let them fool you. A lot of times, successful elders give the wrong advice. Hear me out. They often forget who they were and what they did to get to where they are. They tell you things like, live a balanced life. Stop and smell the roses. It's okay to rest. Knowing damn well they were ruthless motherfuckers on their way up. The advice isn't bad. It's actually very comforting. That's why they feed it to you. They give you that weak shit to keep you where you are. Success, money, and power isn't for the weak. They have a very strong understanding of that. They make money feeding you the weak shit. And then you wonder why you're still stuck. I'm going to be very honest with you. Fuck that touchy-feely shit. Hee hee ha ha, you're only young once. Yeah, I'm only young once. These are the years where I'll have the most energy I'll ever have mentally and physically. I'd be a clown to fuck around and waste them. Do I go out and have fun? Of course I do. That's not the point I'm making. What I'm saying is, you're only this age once. Not everyone is after the same things in life. It all starts with knowing what you want, being honest with what you want, and then committing to what you want. It's up to you to make it happen. So, go out there and fucking do it. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Right? Now, that's the quote that I wrote down today. And you could say it's not even just a quote, but essentially it's something that you guys should take into account. And for me to break it down for you guys, let's break it down. So, young people have always made massive impact throughout history. This is something that is well known, is well documented. Now, some people might argue and say, oh, young people back then were in their 20s and 30s. No, they're still young. We're just now able to live longer, right? Because of medicine and anything else that you want to say, right? I'm not denying those facts. But letting people tell you that you are young and dumb, and that young people back then, a 19-year-old back then is still a 19-year-old now. It doesn't change the fact that you're 19 years old. Could you say, oh, you had more responsibilities back then? Sure, you could say that. But guess what? You're still 19, right? So why were they able to handle the stress and pressures that they had at 19 and you can't? Are you less than them? Are you weaker than them? Are they smarter than you? Very few people acknowledge that. And Society today tries to dumb you down so much because you're young, right? So because you're young, that means you're also dumb, right? That doesn't anger you? The fact that because you're young, they think you're dumb? It certainly pisses me off for if, even though I know I haven't achieved massive success, that doesn't mean that I'm young and dumb, right? That doesn't mean that I'm dumb because I'm young. I've had countless people that are 20, 30, 40, 50, even 60 years old and older be like, oh, I wish I had your mindset at your age. You're so wise for your age. You're like an old soul, right? I've heard all of it. But I also understand that because I'm young, some people might look at me different. Now, I understand that I only have until I'm 30 before this same message won't make sense, because the next generation of 20-year-olds won't take it the same way that if a 30-year-old person is saying it. But me being in my 20s gives me 8 more years of saying this same thing. Just because you're in your 20s doesn't mean you're young and dumb. Now, they tell you to go out and have fun. A lot of times the ones that are telling you that are the ones who wasted their 20s. And for the most part, a lot of them do regret the fact that they wasted their 20s, even if they don't want to admit it. A lot of them wasted their 20s, even though they don't want to admit it. Right? That's why they tell you, it's okay. You're only young once. You're only, it was a mistake. You're just young. Oh, I was young and dumb. Right? They spit all that nonsense at you and you buy it. You believe it. You eat it up because it's a comfort, right? It's so comfortable when they tell you, oh, it's okay. Take a break. Rest. Do it next week. Do it tomorrow. You don't have to go to the gym today. You don't have to get out of bed today. You're young. You need more sleep. Let your body grow. This and that. Forget all that nonsense. Sure, do you need sleep? Of course. But let me tell you this. When you're 30, you're going to have more responsibilities. You're going to have less energy. As a man, your testosterone is going to be going down. Right? It's so corny. Oh, I'm 40. I feel younger than when I was 20. I'm 30. I feel younger than when I was 20. I'm 50. I feel younger than when I was 30, 40. Like, they always try to feed you that crap, right? Like, oh, when you're 30, you can start over. When you're 40, you can start over, right? Because you wasted your 20s and 30s. Now you get to start over in your 40s. This video might hurt a lot of feelings. And I know for a fact that when I turn it into clips, a lot of the clips will hurt a lot of feelings. Right? But you got to understand. I don't want to say generations, but history a lot of times was built by people our age. Wars were fought by people our age, 18 to 20, 18 to 25, basically. Why do you think the army, they focus on that age group so much? If 30 is the new 20, why doesn't the army or the militaries get them instead of 20s? Why? Does that make sense? This is actually, every video I keep saying these are some topics that I'm going to go more into. This is a topic I'm going to go more into. Being young and dumb. Not being taken seriously when you're in your 20s, simply because you're in your 20s, because apparently, 20s are for, you're going to make mistakes, believe me. I know I'm pretty sure I've made lots of mistakes in my 20s already. But I also understand I'm further ahead than the people that wasted their 20s and the people that are currently wasting their 20s. That's fine. We all want different things in life. Right? It's crazy to me that that's something that they force on us so much, is you're young and dumb. You're in your 20s. So that means make as many mistakes as possible, because you can always come back later. You can always come back in your 30s. You can always come back in your 40s. You can always come back in your 50s. And the years keep going by. And the years keep going by. And now, a lot of these more successful entrepreneurs, I feel way better. in my 60s than I did in my 50s. I feel way better in my 50s than I did in my 40s. I feel way better in my 30s than I did in my 20s. Yeah, you may feel better in your 30s than you felt in your 20s because you wasted your 20s. You probably got fat in your 20s and now you got healthy in your 30s. Right? That's probably the reason why you feel better in your 30s or you feel better in your 40s. Because for a fact, I know there are 50-year-olds that look better than some of you 20-year-olds today. Simply because you're young and dumb, right? Go party, go have fun. Think about how normalized having a ugly dad bod is. And me calling a dad bod ugly is going to have a lot of people riled up, right? But it's for that same reason that a woman would cheat with a guy who looks great, even though she's married or has a boyfriend that has a dad bod, right? Because it's okay to have a dad bod, right? She'll marry you, but she'll cheat on you with the guy who doesn't have a dad bod, right? Think you gotta really understand these scenarios and these situations. They're not easy to accept. They're not even easy for me to just come out and talk about it, right? Because I understand that my audience may not have ever heard me talk like this. If you did, if you watched me on TikTok 2021, 2022, I said a lot of this stuff. A lot of my content got shadow banned. A lot of my content got removed, right? But you got to understand, this same concept of leadership that I speak about in my content now, you need to lead your life. You need to lead in the direction that you want to go into. And it starts with information like this. Why do they tell you that it's okay to be young and dumb? You think they were telling kids that back then? When they were 15, 16, you think they were telling them, oh, it's like, yeah, it's okay, you're young and dumb? Look up Alexander the Great, what he was doing from 19 to 22, up until he died at 30. Do you know how incredible being in your 20s is? How much of an opportunity it is that you will never ever get back? You're only in your 20s once, right? And it's the time where you have the most energy mentally and physically. You may not be the wisest, but this is why we build skills. You may not be the richest, but this is why we build skills, right? You may not be in the best shape, but this is where you can hit the gym as often as you want to, as often as you can, because for the most part, I know for a fact that a lot of you don't even have kids yet. You probably don't even own a car. You probably don't even own a house, right? You probably don't have any of these major responsibilities yet. Yet you're wasting your 20s, right? And you're not just wasting your 20s. You're going to use your 30s as an excuse for the amount of time you wasted in your 20s. Yeah, it's okay to start over. Yeah, it's never too late to start over. Yeah, it's never too late. You're 40 now. It's never too late to start over, right? Because the same energy you had at 40, the same energies you had at 20, you're going to have at 40. The same energy you had at 20, you're going to have at 30. Think about that. And a lot of times, I advocate for men for most because I'm a man. I understand that as we get older, we're only going to get more attractive up until we're in our late 30s, which you could say, you know, maybe our skin starts to go down a little bit, our drive starts to go down a little bit. But as long as our money is going up, you know, in the relationship market, we're still attractive, right? But I understand that in our 20s, we don't have that much respect. We have a lot of work to do. I've understood that from a young age, like 15, 16, 17. I was hit with that reality where I was just like, oh, damn, I have a lot of work to do. And I accepted it, right? And the goal is to become more and more respectable, right? To achieve more and more, to climb the ladder more and more, to look as attractive as I can, to be as wise as I can be, to be as fit as I can be, to be as sharp as I can be, to be as equipped as I can be, right? You guys got to understand. You need to maximize your capabilities in your 20s, going into your 30s, and you need to keep going up. I'm 22 right now. I understand there's a lot of lessons that I haven't learned. But I would much rather make mistakes, learn right away, right? Like, you should only make a mistake once and learn from it. You drink, you get drunk, learn from it. So many people, like, you need 50 lessons just to learn one thing. I get it, we're all wired differently. But if you need 50 mistakes for, you did one mistake 50 times. Now, I know 50 is an exaggeration, but why do you need 50 mistakes to learn a lesson? Think about how many times you had to learn a lesson, and then until it was that near-death experience, now you learned a lesson, right? Think about that. You had so many opportunities to change, so many opportunities to do something different, try something different. But, you know, society keeps telling you, oh yeah, it's never too late to start over. You can start over in your 30s. You can start over in your 40s. You can start over when you're 50. As if you don't have more responsibilities, more bills to pay, right? Why do you think some people work the same dead-end job? They hate the job. Now, you could love your job and work until you're 40. That's great. But it's the people who hate their job and they work the same job until they're 40. Why do you think that is? I was young and dumb, right? I made those mistakes because I was young and dumb. Now I'm 30, right? Think about how much cope there is out there online from 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds and even 50, 60-year-olds talking about how it's never too late to start over. I have more energy than when I did in my 20s. Think about that. That's so corny. And it's so much cope. They have to cope so much with the fact that they absolutely wasted their 20s. And you're going down that same path. You're going down that same road. Absolutely wasting your 20s, thinking that you could start over in your 30s. Because in school, on social media, everybody is spewing the crap of it's never too late to start over. Oh, he was just young and dumb. I was just young and dumb. I was just young and dumb and I did that. Right? Imagine. This is when you will reach your peak physique. Like, I'm 22, right? And for most men, by the time we're 25, 27, that's when we reach peak. As long as we put our most energy into it, that's our peak in terms of physique, in terms of physical strength. Now, do you get stronger over time? Of course. There's probably 40-year-olds that are way stronger than me. They're probably way bigger than me. Right? Or they might be more aesthetic than me. But but best believe I can attain a shape or size or strength faster than them. I can cut faster. I can put on size faster, right? So it's not going to take me that long to catch up to how they look. It might take me 3, 4, 5 years. They don't have 3, 4, 5 years to cut. Not saying it's going to take you 3, 4, 5 years to cut. But if there's a certain look you're going for, it might take you a couple years. Think about that for a second. But you're young and dumb, right? It's okay to have a dad bod, right? It's okay to start over in your 30s. Start that business when you're 30. Start that business when you're 40. As if time isn't going like that. You don't know if you have until 30. Do you know how many people our age just pass away from freak accidents that weren't... They could have just been walking and they get hit by a car because of a drunk driver. You think you have until tomorrow? You think you're going to wake... Do you choose to wake up? You may set an alarm clock, but do you choose and make the decision, I'm going to wake up right now? Okay, let me wake up. You might make the decision to get out of bed, but you don't make the decision to wake up. What makes you think you have until 30? What makes you think you're going to turn 25? You're going to turn 30. You're going to turn 45. You don't know that. None of us know that. Think about how many people have thought they had 20 years left or 10 years left, right? And some people are probably going to be like, oh, this guy, he's going to wish that he stopped and smelled the roses. He's going to wish that he took a break. He's going to wish that he spent more time with this and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Right now, a lot of these responsibilities of having a family, of massive bills and debt, I don't have those. So I understand that this is the time that I have the most energy, the most bandwidth, the most mental bandwidth to put into making sure that I can thrive in my 30s and 40s. Because me building for these next 10 years, these next 20 years, will give me the best chance of attaining everything that I want to attain. Because I'm choosing to spend right now my 20s building the rest of my life. I can always party in my 30s. I can always party in my 40s. But you guys don't think that way, right? And that doesn't mean I don't go out and have fun now. I do. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. Right? That's always been my mindset. Like, I could remember the time that I literally took my bike, rode it across highways just to go see somebody. So I've always been like, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. That's always been my mindset. Nobody could take that away from me. Best believe my parents tried. Siblings tried. Oh, why do you want these? Why do you think you're going to make it? This and that. Do you think everybody makes it? I've heard all of it. I've had the people laugh in my face countless times. People I wouldn't expect to laugh in my face have laughed in my face. Where do you think this mindset comes from? You think I was born with it? I wasn't born. This mindset was molded because once I knew what I wanted and I put it out there, people tried to take it away from me. People tried to belittle my dreams, my goals. But I've never changed my mind, right? Because I didn't allow what they think of what I should be, of what I should be going after. I didn't let that get into my head. But you probably did. It's okay to be young and dumb, right? Just another drink, right? Just another puff, right? Think about these things. And that might be the wrong terminology. I don't care because I'm not doing it, right? And I'm not trying to push my lifestyle onto you. Do whatever you want to do. Just don't complain when people have the things that you have. Don't moan when people have the things that you want. And it gets further and further away from you. It gets further and further away from you because you keep wasting time. You keep thinking you have another 60 years to live when you don't even know if you're going to wake up and see tomorrow. You don't even know if you're going to wake up and see next week, next year. Do you know how many people lose family members in a blink of an eye, in a quick second? Sometimes over a car crash, a disease. Like all these things that just take people like that. People didn't even expect to just, now they're gone. Now that family member is gone. Never to be seen again. Girls losing their boyfriends, boyfriends losing their girlfriends in ways they never thought they would lose them because they thought they had forever, because they thought they had all the rest of their lives, right? Little did they know the rest of their lives was one more day, was one more week, one more year. Because we don't know when we're gone or when we're going to be gone. So you need to, there's plenty of people that are successful than you, but they don't tell you the truth of how they got there. They don't tell you the real stuff. They might tell you the nice and cheesy stuff, the stuff that is so mundane, which is great. And I'm only speaking in terms of age. They give quality stuff. Trust me, I listen to my elders. I listen to the people that are older and wiser than me, who have made it, who have 50 times what I have, 100 times what I have. I've listened to them. I watch their stuff. I'm always studying them as often as I can. So trust me, I listen to my elders. I respect them. I respect the knowledge because they lived life. But don't let that fool you. I'm going to read that quote again. Not just the quote. I'm going to read the whole, let's say, passage that I wrote. And I really want you guys to grasp the understanding of this. Founding Fathers of America. On July 4th, 1776, James Monroe was 18. Aaron Burr was 20. John Marshall was 20. Alexander Hamilton was 21. Betsy Ross was 24. James Madison was 25. Thomas Jefferson was 33. Young people have always made massive impact throughout history. Yet, you keep letting society tell you that you are young and dumb. It's laughable. Really. You can be young and dumb. Just don't be upset when others are living your dreams. And they're the same age as you. Think about that. Think about how many people that are your age right now doing the things that you wish you could be doing. Think about that. That pisses me off. Sure, everybody's journey is different. That's another thing they tell you all the time. And it's true. Everybody's journey is different. It's true. But it should piss you off that somebody your age, they probably have the same business as you. They probably had the same childhood as you. The same lifestyle as you. But they just made the decision to commit. And now they made it. Now they have the car you want. The woman you want. Everything that you want. They have it now. Think about that. You could be young and dumb. Just don't be upset when others are living your dreams. I've always been an advocate for respect your elders. Mainly because when I'm an elder, I will want to be treated with respect. But don't let them fool you. A lot of times, successful elders give the wrong advice. Hear me out. They often forget who they were and what they did to get to where they are. They tell you things like, live a balanced life. Stop and smell the roses. It's okay to rest. Take a break. Take a break. It's never too late to try again. It's never too late to give it your all. It's never too late to start something new. Right? Because you know how much time you have left. Yeah, I have another 20 years. Boom, you're gone tomorrow. I have another 10, 15 years. You're gone tomorrow. I have another 20, 40 years to figure it out. You're gone next week. Right? They tell you these things. But they know damn well that they were ruthless motherfuckers on their way up. The advice isn't bad. It's actually very comforting. That's why they feed it to you. They're so ready to feed you this comfortable advice. It's going to make you sleep all nice and tidy at night, right? Like, oh, thank you for the comforting advice. Everybody would love a comforting lie over a hard and painful truth, right? Everybody loves a comforting lie. Of course they do. So trust me, the advice isn't bad. It's just very, very comforting because that's what everybody wants. So they're not going to tell you that they were some stone cold motherfucker. They're not going to tell you they were ruthless and that they nobody could stop them. They would not let anybody get in their way. They might talk about it. Oh yeah, I remember I did this and this, but they're not going to tell you to do the same thing because, I realized that, even though I'm a millionaire now, even though I'm a 9-figure entrepreneur now, 8-figure entrepreneur now, even though my net worth is 500 million, I wish I would have stopped and smelled the roses. They can't stop and smell the roses now, right? Think about that. The money is the freedom to do whatever you want. Yet they tell you it doesn't bring happiness. Of course, money alone isn't going to bring happiness. It's what you do with it and how you choose to spend it. That's where the happiness will come from. But trust me, they know damn well that they were some ruthless motherfuckers on their way up. Right? The advice they give you isn't bad. It's actually very, very comforting. But that's why they feed it to you, right? They want you to stay comfortable. They don't want you to compete with them. They know for a fact that a 20-year-old who's running some, $1 billion company compared to a 40-year-old who's running a million or billion-dollar company, that 40-year-old could be wiser, but that 20-something-year-old has way more energy. Don't act like 20-something-year-olds haven't had million and even billion-dollar companies. Don't act that way. Every single day you hear a new story about some young person who's doing something extremely, extremely incredible. Yet here you are thinking that you're just young and dumb. Yeah, that kid over there, he's unique. I can't do what he's doing. I can never do what he's doing. Why not? See, these elders and these, let's say social media gurus, never too late to start in your 30s. It's never too late to start in your 40s. A lot of them, I feel better now that I'm 40. I feel way more energetic when I'm in my 40s than in my 20s. Think about that. That's why they feed you the BS. Because they understand that you're going to eat it up. You're going to buy their stuff. You're going to buy their products. Right? So they feed it to you because, they know you love that. So they give you that weak shit to keep you where you are. Think about it. Success and money and power. It's not for weak-minded people. It's not for weak-hearted people. It's for people who are willing to do whatever it takes to get to where they want to be. They want freedom for themselves and their families. So they're willing to do whatever it takes to get that freedom. Yet you think this stuff is for the weak? That's why they give you the weak messages, the weak advice. They have a very strong understanding that success, money, and power isn't for the weak. They have a very strong understanding of that. They make money feeding you that weak shit. And then you wonder why you're still stuck, right? Oh, well, I'm doing what they said. I'm taking breaks here and there. I'm journaling. Ice baths. 8 hours of sleep every night. I'm hitting the gym. I'm a vegan. Right? You got to look into some of these people, man. Like, look at their backstory. Look at the truth of what they did. Look at what they did, not what they tell you that they did. I keep telling you guys, study the greats. Study the people that were ahead of you. Study the people that are better than you. I'm going to be very honest with you. You gotta say fuck that touchy-feely shit. Hee hee, ha ha. You're only young once, right? Like I know I'm only young once. These are the years where I'll have the most energy I'll ever have mentally and physically. I'd be a clown, an absolute clown, to fuck around and waste these years. Now, do I go out and have fun? Of course I do. But that's not the point that I'm making. What I'm saying is you're only this age once. Not everyone is after the same thing. I get that. I completely understand that. But it all starts with knowing what you want, being honest with what you want, and then committing to what you want. It's up to you to make it happen. So go out there and fucking do it. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Repeat it. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Man, I know this was a strong-hearted video. It's probably not going to get a lot of views. But hit that follow if you agree with this message. I'll see you guys on the next one.